Hello, dear Brother Adams. Hello, dear group. Me and Sarah, we are very happy to work on this project and do this video for all of us group. It's very big pleasure to work with you. Here is our anniversary project. This anniversary project is written by Angie Breers, Anna Nixon, Ellen Chukalova, Sarah Monson, and Nicolette Gell. A diverse school.
So there is a Head Start program, and it's near downtown Portland. It prides itself on being one of the most diverse programs in the entire state of Oregon. There are over 25 different languages spoken at the school, with only 230 students. What makes this school special is that the immigrant families connect with each other by making just meeting at the school. So for example, the Muslim and Arabic speaking families, they finally feel like they have a home in America and in Portland once they make friends with other people from their part of the world.
The problem, a cultural clash.
So one day there was some parents that approached me and another teacher. They were the parents of a little 4-year-old girl, and they were very concerned about their daughter who was attending, that she should not be hugged or be giving out hugs to any of the boy students in the class. And what was a little bit hard for us is that this girl had not been coming to school very often. When she was picked up, she was usually picked up late, and really late. Sometimes they would forget about her and we'd have to call the home to have them come pick her up very long after school had ended. And this family was very new to America. They were completely unfamiliar with what a preschool was like. So just the culture change from coming from the Middle East to America was a big difference. And we did have some family advocate positions at the school, and their job was to, help smooth over some of those types of problems with families. They had been reaching out to the parents and the family to try and help address those attendance issues, but just reaching out to them, again, with the culture issues, they felt bombarded, they felt like they were in trouble, and we felt like we were beginning to upset this family. And the problem with Head Start is that because there are only so many selections, so many spots, that if the girl was not attending at least 80% of the time, she was going to be removed entirely from Head Start, and her spot would be given to another student on the waiting list. And this was a really big opportunity that the family was probably really not aware of, because at Head Start they focus on kindergarten readiness, language development, especially because English was not her first language, and also just the socialization factors that she would benefit from by attending school in an American school.
Lesson plan, preschool, good teaching standards, culturalism, 18 students. Classroom setting.
So the classroom that this occurred in, it was a really big classroom. We had 18 students, and there was always 2 teachers at least in the class. But the work was mostly done independently and spontaneously by the students in a Montessori style. So the students were free to explore the activities that we had set out at different stations for them that they were most interested in. And it was just very natural and organic in which project or which activity they wanted to pursue. And this is just some of the stations that were in our classroom. There's usually blocks and reading and puzzles and dress-ups and all types of things that you would see in a typical preschool classroom.
Skills, reading, very formers.
So the main goal of preschool is the socialization factors, especially for a diverse preschool where there's children from literally all over the world that are coming to one school to learn more about American culture and American education. And so the main targets are cooperation, taking turns, asking nicely, sharing, and within the activities, the other part that we focus on is fine motor skills and phonics awareness, but those happen naturally.
Learning through play.
In one particular part of our classroom, there is a dress-up corner where it was essentially a playhouse like the ones that you see in the photos there. There were dolls and kitchen and fake food where the kids could do role-playing of adults. So more than likely, this would be the station where hugging by children might happen. It wasn't something that we required. It wasn't a part of the lesson plan by any means, but sometimes little kids just hug each other when one of them is sad. Sometimes they'll comfort each other through a hug or when they say hi. And that's, again, just kind of part of the American culture that they weren't quite familiar with.
Steps.
So in the classroom, the way it worked was that each child was given a picture of themselves with some Velcro on the back, and we called it their mini-me. And they had to carry their mini-me around to every place in the classroom they wanted to go to. So for example, there was 4 spots at the Play-Doh table, and they put their little mini-me on the Velcro there. And if it was full, they would have to wait. Or, you know, they would just have to go find another station that was open that had available spots for them. So with this type of Montessori lesson plan, you could say there's not a lot of teacher direction. There's more teachers stopping in to help and see how they're doing or help work on a particular skill or resolve issues. And there really was just too many kids for us to notice the one moment this little girl was going to be given a hug. We couldn't just hover around her the whole day and make sure that, you know, boys stayed away from her. And she wasn't particularly affectionate. And so this really wasn't an issue. I hadn't seen her being hugged by another boy student. I hadn't seen her trying to hug boy students. It wasn't her personality. And so the fact that these parents were so concerned and worried and wanting to even take their child out of school perhaps was really a surprise to us and also really made us sad.
Possible problems.
So like I already talked about, I guess I got a little bit ahead of ourselves, is that the children would get bored. They would get impatient sometimes in the classroom if they would have to wait for Play-Doh and that was their favorite place, or if they had to wait to go play at the water table. And in preschool, sometimes feelings get hurt, sometimes, you know, their block tower gets knocked down. And it's pretty typical that, you know, sometimes a kid will put their arm around them and say, oh, it's okay, or you can come play with me. And that's exactly what we're shooting for in terms of social skills. Of course, it's not required that they hug each other. It was just that is something that we would mark that, you know, they show empathy. That's actually a skill that was recorded, and we would talk to teachers about that or talk with parents about that at parent-teacher conferences. At the same time, in this type of environment, it was an unrealistic expectation by the parents for them to expect us to make sure their child was never touched by a boy student. That's just not, you know, something we could be expected to be in charge of for an entire school day. And that's the end.
Yeah, it's the end. I hope you will enjoy our project. The discrimination is work everywhere, unfortunately. Hope it will be end soon. We will be happy to continue and see you soon.